Hallo Leute, welcome to another video. My name is Martin. I've been a German teacher for more than 10 years, and after watching this video, you'll know how to use the most important dative prepositions. So first of all, just in case you need a quick reminder on the right dative article forms, here they are. We have dem Mann for the masculine dative. There's always an M. So an M is like the signal ending here. Dem Mann or einem Mann. For the feminine, there is the R as the signal ending, dative feminine R, so der Frau, einer Frau. Neutral, same as the masculine, dem Kind, einem Kind. And for the plural, it's den Kindern and Kinder, because there's no such thing as a plural indefinite article. I'm sure you know that. So how can we translate the dative where there's no dative case in English? So it's an indirect object and we most of the time don't even translate it. So dem Mann is still the man in English, but it depends on the verb. Sometimes it's something like to the man or for the man or something. So let's now take a look at the dative prepositions. After these prepositions, we need the dative case, not the other cases, not the accusative case and not the nominative case. So we have mit, we have bei, aus, zu, von, and let's start now with mit. So, die Kinder spielen mit dem Ball. The kids play with the ball or are playing with the ball. And the next example sentence is Peter fährt mit dem Bus zur Arbeit. Here we have even two dative forms, mit dem Bus and then also zur Arbeit. So first of all, it means Peter takes the bus to work. Fahren is to drive, literally, but it's also just to go somewhere by bus or by taxi, by bike. And zur, by the way, is also dative. Der, it's combined with the preposition zu that we'll talk about in a bit. So zu der becomes zur. More on this later. Ich telefoniere mit meiner Mutter. I'm on the phone with my mother. Ich gehe mit meinem Freund ins Kino. I go to the cinema with my friend. Again, we have a short form. Ins is short for in das. This time it's not dative. This time it's accusative. So that's for another day, for another video. In, just briefly, in is one of the 9 Wechselpräpositionen. So these prepositions, they sometimes take the dative case, they sometimes take the accusative case. Change of place, accusative, no change of place, dative. But for today we're talking about the dative prepositions, the ones that I've just showed you, and they always take the dative case, no exception whatsoever. So the next preposition is bei. Common translations include at or with. Ich wohne bei meinen Eltern. I live with my parents, and I have a tip for you. For the dative plural, we get lots of N's in German. So here we have bei meinen Eltern. So meinen is the article word here, ends with an N, and the noun always also gets an N if it doesn't end in an N already, like Eltern. This one already ends in an N, so we don't add a second N. But other nouns, like for example das Kind, die Kinder, and for the dative plural, we add another N, den Kindern. So dative plural means lots of N's. Articles, adjective, if we have any, here there is none, and the noun. So lots of N's for the dative plural. That's a great tip. Theo ist jetzt beim Arzt. Theo is now at the doctor or at the doctors. Again, we have a short form. We have beim, which is short for bei plus dem. Great. Sie ist sonntags bei ihrer Oma. This is feminine, and feminine dative always gets the R, the article words, like here, ihrer Oma. If you're serious about learning German, you should definitely check out my 27-hour-long beginner's A1 course. Join over 1,000 students that master the A1 German level with me. All details down below. It's the first link in the video description. In English, this is she eats at her grandma's place on Sundays. Great. The next preposition is aus, from, out of. Ich komme aus Deutschland. If we have a city or a country name, we usually don't have an article. With cities, never. With countries, sometimes 5 or 10%. But most countries, no articles. So you don't have to worry about the dative case in the first place. But this is still dative in theory. Aus Deutschland. I come from Germany. Maria kommt aus der Schweiz. Here we have a country that does have an article. It's die Schweiz, feminine. And for the dative, it gets an R, so der Schweiz. Maria kommt aus der Schweiz. Maria comes from or is from Switzerland. So Schweiz is a feminine country and a beautiful country, lovely nature, clean air, beautiful mountains, good food. So highly recommended. Trinkt Bier aus der Flasche. So not using a glass, just using the bottle. Why not? He drinks beer out of the bottle. Trinkt Bier aus der Flasche. So die Flasche, again feminine, dative, gets an R. Aus der Flasche. Der Tisch ist aus Holz. The table is made of wood. So we also use it for material. Aus Holz, aus Plastik, aus Glas. Again, there is no article used, mostly in these cases, so you don't have to worry about the right endings. It's still dative in theory. The next preposition is zu, and to is the most common translation here. Ich gehe zu meinem Freund. So you can go to a place or to a person, then you use zu. For people, you always use zu. For places, sometimes. These are quite tricky, these local prepositions. We'll have another video on those soon. But for people, always use zu if you go to a person. I'm going to my friend. Wir fahren jeden Morgen zur Schule. We drive or we go to school every morning. Again, we have the short form. Zu der is zur, mostly in spoken language, but you don't have to do that. You could say zu der Schule, but it's way more common to say zur Schule. Another place we go to or we drive to a lot is work. In German, die Arbeit. So it's feminine, so the article will again end in an R, right? Fährt mit dem Bus zur Arbeit. Zu der, zur. He goes to work by bus. And there's a second dative form here, mit dem Bus, because mit is another dative preposition, as we've seen before. Ich gehe zum Arzt. I'm going to the doctor. So here we have again the short form, zu dem, and that's zum, the short form for that. Great. So, next preposition is von. Das ist der Hund von Stefanie. So we mainly use it for possession. Der Hund von Stefanie. In English, this is Stefanie's dog. We also have the genitive case in German, so we could have also said, das ist Stefanies Hund. But genitive case is quite advanced. It's easy for names like Stefanies Hund, Peters Auto. It's easy for names, but it's more tricky with other nouns. In which case you can use von as an easier alternative if you're on the A1, A2 level and still struggling with the genitive. And then later on you will master the genitive, I'm sure. So von also plus the dative case. For example, ich komme gerade von der Arbeit. So it's not only used for possession, also for direction, some place where you're coming from. Ich komme gerade von der Arbeit. I'm just coming from work. Great. And the next sentence is, das Geschenk ist von meiner Tante. So it's not only used for possession, but also for origin, where someone or something like the present comes from. This gift is from my aunt. Last sentence, wir fahren von München nach Berlin. Again, origin. We're driving from Munich, starting point, to Berlin, end point. So don't forget that not all prepositions take the dative case. We also have these super important prepositions with the accusative case. Für, durch, ohne, gegen. They are the famous foo dog prepositions. foo dog doesn't mean anything. It's just a funny way of remembering the accusative prepositions. But today we've covered these dative prepositions. And there's a third category of prepositions that will take either case, sometimes accusative, sometimes dative. They are called the Wechselpräpositionen, and we can have a video on them very soon. If you want, let me know down below. I'll see you in the next video.